Hey everyone, I'm Sierra alongside Molly from Sassy Stuff, and we are here to preview the arguably biggest week 1 game, Texas versus Ohio State in Columbus. What a way to kick off the season. Molly, you're a diehard Texas fan. So, from the Texas side, are you excited about this matchup, or would you rather play a cupcake season opener?
No, no, no. I'm ready. I feel like this is probably the most interesting opening weekend game there has ever been in SEC football. That's arguable. I don't know if you have a different opinion, let me know. Um, I'm excited. I think it's like the best revenge game possible. And we're also looking, we talked about this a lot in the preview. We're looking at two brand new teams. I mean, we're looking at they both have new quarterbacks. They both have pretty new defensive and offensive lines. So I think for people saying that Ohio State has won once and they can win again, I beg to differ. I think this is a completely new team. I'm excited. This is like I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for Saturday morning.
Absolutely. And this game is so important for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas program for this year. You get Arch Manning, the quarterback with tons of hype around him. He is getting thrown to the wolves in this game. He is getting the opportunity to show that he is that guy for Texas. And a win here is huge for the Longhorns because they don't have the toughest SEC schedule or overall schedule. So this win over Ohio State, if they get it, is going to be a big deal for them.
I feel bad for Arch Manning because I just feel like this poor kid has so much pressure on his shoulders to make this whole season. He's carrying a really big name. He's a Manning. He's carrying arguably the absolute best football program in America right now. I genuinely think that. And so I think this kid has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I just think he is so cool, calm, and collected that I see him executing this first game really well. But obviously, it's his first full time season as the QB1, which I am ecstatic about. Not that, Quinn Ewers, I think, was a great quarterback for the team last year, but I'm just really happy to see Manning coming in full fledged. Like, this is his team, he's running it. I'm really excited. He's also a Heisman contender, which is a huge selling point for the Longhorns. However, we have a red shirt freshman on the other side at Ohio State. We have Julian Thayen, and I am interested to see how his season opener goes. What an opener for him! Like, wow, you're going up against a potential Heisman winner. Sierra, I don't know how you would feel being in poor Julian's shoes.
Oh yeah, and Ohio State also a lot of pressure as well. They won the national title last year, but they also have some star receivers returning back, like Jeremiah Smith. He was the best wide receiver prospect, best wide receiver in the country last year, going to be the best one probably this year too. And Sayan's going to have some weapons to throw to, so that's really good. Still all young players, but I think that this is also another big game that Ohio State needs to win too, because yes, they're national champions and whatnot, but during the regular season, it's not always perfect for them. They just somehow can't beat Michigan, and they weren't undefeated heading into the college football playoff. And so this is an opportunity for them to show, hey, we haven't lost our juice and we're still here to go.
Yeah, and they also, I mean, Ohio State introduces new coordinators. They have Matt Patricia, who's on the defensive side, and Brian Hartline, offensive side. So I think, we're looking at, like I said in the beginning, a brand new team. You're looking at new coaching staff. You're looking at new players. Yes, they have some returning key players. That's great, but these returning key players are now working with new coaching staff. So I think this is going to be a tough game on Ohio State's side. It's definitely not a cupcake game for either of these teams. It's definitely going to be more tough on their side, I think, because they are learning new stuff. They're meshing with a new quarterback who's a redshirt freshman. And so I'm interested to see how they do as a team. And I think that's genuinely why Texas is favored in this game. They're favored not by a lot. I think it's going to be a close game. I personally am probably calling. I'd say like maybe
I think it'll be
26
close.
to 30.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I'm
Not a
thinking
super high scoring game, but right there in the middle.
I'm predicting Texas a touchdown I wanted to call it period like it's hockey. Sorry. Every
Big fan of
quarter.
having any sports or
I love
football.
hockey. I'm like, period, right? Yeah, so I'm predicting a touchdown every quarter for Texas. That's my prediction. I am predicting that. But we will have to see because I am a little nervous. Ohio State's defensive line was incredibly tough to crack last season. Um, but we'll have to see with this opening game. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up there, Molly. The Texas running backs are also pretty talented, talented as well. They have Trey Wisner coming back, and then CJ Baxter is also returning from an ACL injury. So this Ohio State running back room gets the opportunity to also put on a show if they really are able to poke a hole through that Ohio State defense.
Ohio State does have a new transfer tackle, Philip Daniels. He's emerged. He is a huge highlight to Ohio State. You know, we're just this is going to be an interesting game. You've got like you said, CJ Baxter, Christian Clark. They're all coming back from injuries on the Texas side. So I'm interested to see how these teams mesh. And I also think Texas is out for vengeance. Like this is their revenge game. This is their moment. All gas, no brakes, baby. So I'm looking forward to it. I think, Coach Steve, my man Steve for president, bro. Like I love that guy. I think he's out for vengeance. I think they're this whole program is like, you know what? Next season, Ohio State, we're coming for you. And the week is here. We are literally 5 days away by the time this is posted. I cannot wait.
And another thing I'm looking forward to seeing is the wide receiver room with Texas. They aren't the most hyped up group right now. Ryan Wingo is back, but they lost three of their top wide receivers last year. So that should be interesting to see how they go up against that. And then Ohio State has one of the best secondaries out there with Caleb Downs, defensive back there for the Buckeyes. And if Texas can pull off their wide receiver play and give and allow Arch Manning to show off his arm and whatnot, then I think it could definitely be a show. But I'm excited to see how Arch Manning really does in a high pressure environment like this because we haven't seen him in high pressure environments. I mean, the biggest game he's played in was against Mississippi State, like completely. And no disrespect to the Bulldogs out there, but they were one of the worst teams in the SEC. This Ohio State team is going to be a real challenge for him, but just an opportunity for Manning to show that, hey, I'm my own player. I know he gets compared to his uncles and whatnot. We know that he's a very different player, very athletic. And I also would like to see him show off those wheels a little bit. We know how athletic he is and how he runs the football when necessary.
I love that kind of quarterback. I think Eli and Peyton are both very Tom Brady traditional quarterbacks. They throw the ball. I love being able to watch a quarterback run the ball. I think it is the most attractive thing on a QB on a team is when they're able to be multifaceted, which one of my biggest holdups last year in Ohio State's game was that Arch wasn't on the 1 yard line. That really still just grinds
Traumatized.
my gears, guys. I'm like, why did we call this? And there are a bunch of implications with this game. You've got, a national title pictured here. You've got both teams that are early championship contenders already. A Texas win would strengthen their number one billing here, which I would love to see them stay number one through this season. A Buckeyes win will reinforce OSU's momentum in defending their national championship status. And so this is such a big game for both teams, and like I said, would love to see Texas be able to win. However, we're also looking at two inexperienced quarterbacks, like you were just talking about. We've got Arch, who really hasn't played in super high stress environments, and so this is going to be a good game to see as a fan and just a watcher in general to be able to see how he handles the stress because there's so much pressure. And I just want to remind everybody, this kid's like, what, 19, 20? Like he's so young. And so we're getting to see possibly like a legacy. We're looking at a kid who could possibly be a Hall of Famer someday. And so giving a little bit of grace and space for him in this first game, which is crazy. But, there's also a coaching edge in this game, like we were talking about just a minute ago, how well these teams are going to handle new coaching staff, how well they're going to be able to mesh with transfer portal kids. There's so much happening in this first game. And I I love the fact that it's not a cupcake game. Like, I want to be able to sit down on Saturday morning, fresh off a 9 a.m.er because I'm Pacific time, and I want to be rooting in a bar in Los Angeles, California, for my Texas Longhorns.
The SEC just means more.
Like, we're diehard fans. I don't think there's other fan base that's like as hardcore as the SEC teams.
Oh, absolutely. So what's your score prediction? You said it you touched on it a little bit earlier, but mine is 21-14. I think Texas pulls it off because I'm just not sure what know about yet from Ohio State. He's not Will Howard from last year, and he has the wide receiver room to maybe cut take up some slack at lack of experience on his part, but Arch does have a little bit more experience and just he's just a natural player. He wouldn't be named the starter at Texas if he wasn't ready to play this game.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is arguably like one of the hardest schools to even get into as a student, but also to play for. I mean, if you are recruited and you're like wanted by Texas, you are a very talented athlete. I did touch on it a little bit. I think it's going to be a really close game, in my opinion. I do think we're looking at two inexperienced quarterbacks. I'm also looking at Texas winning just from the poise of their coaching staff. I think Texas has had a lot more preparation with these coaches than Ohio State. We're looking at a whole new offensive and defensive coaching staff here. So I'm gonna say Texas obviously takes it home. I also just hope that they do because I'm a fan. I want to say it's going to be a little bit more of a higher scoring game than you think. I would say like 27-30, or I'm predicting 4 touchdowns from Texas overall. I do think we're going to see that. Uh, I just think it's going to be a tough game. I do think they've Ohio State, like I said earlier, their defensive line is so hard to crack. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking like within 3 points of each other.
Yeah. All right. So both of us got the Longhorns here. What do y'all think? Tell us in the comments on what your score prediction is or what your prediction for either of these teams is for the rest of the season. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.